All right, now let's look at our development and our path when we go from a security academy to the work site. Now, this could be a security academy, online course, an in-person training, maybe a refresher, and then how do you take that and use that knowledge when you're on your work site? It might be going to a law enforcement academy, it might be going to military initial entry training, and then you blend into your job school. I want to look at two different areas of this, the officer or the guard force in general, and your management and leadership. With the officers, there's two elements, human and technology. And first, in the academy, I want to train all of my folks how to observe, how to ask themselves, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? Is what I'm observing appropriate for the situation, or is it incongruent with what would be expected? I want them to know how to walk during a patrol. Do I need to walk silently so that I'm not announcing my presence? Or do I want to make a little bit of noise so that way I do announce my presence and act more as a deterrent? There are a lot of things going on. So once they have that understanding, then I'm going to show them the technology that they will be using on a day-to-day basis that will hopefully do a lot of those things for them, or at least give them a way to anticipate in a way that you couldn't do being the human being alone. So how do they use the alarm system? How do they use the access control system? How does the camera system work? What about patrol verification tools such as wands and things of that nature? So first we teach them what needs to be done, the philosophy behind it, and then we're going to teach them how to use the technological tools to make those items easier. Now, when we're talking about management and leadership, we can kind of take that same approach. First thing you'd want to do if you were talking to let's say it's a supervisor, a management on up, talking to one of these people in your training academies, you want them to have the knowledge and understanding of the layers of protection. So that way, when they are creating a system, they know how to protect from the outside in. They know how to de-escalate and slow down any type of penetrations to their security program. Then we want them to know how to do threat assessments, how to do a thorough threat assessment. And then once you know what your threats are, we want them to be able to conduct a probability assessment of those threats. We need them to understand how to tell the difference between the two. So much like earlier, we taught the officers how to do their job using just their own observational techniques and their physical abilities. Then we asked the guards to use these technological tools to make those things easier and more efficient. Well, now that your security management or the people that are going through training to one day become security leadership, now that they understand the elements of protection assessments, being threat and probability, now we're going to have them discover the software and apps that will do those things for them. Now, some people might ask, well, why even deal with that first part? Why not just shortcut it, train them up on the software and apps, and put them to work? I can see where they're coming from, but the thing is you need to know if your software and apps are doing the job and providing you the result that you need. You need to know when they're functioning correctly. You need to know when they're malfunctioning. The only way you can know that is if you have a thorough understanding of the above. Consider it like math. Okay, you might know how to perform a long division problem. However, if you do it on your own, let's say it takes you 20 seconds to work out this long division problem, but if you had a calculator, you can knock it out inside of 3. Obviously, for everyday purposes, you're going to want to use the calculator, but you still know how it's done. How are you going to find tangents and the slope of a line, and how are you going to figure out these algebraic equations? How are you going to decipher and measure and label certain angles? All of these things that we do in math and geometry and algebra and trig, calculus, all of those things you have to know Well, you should know, I should say, if you want to be a true professional, you should know how to do those longhand, if you will, but then you want to know the tools that will do that for you. And you can really tell the professionals by the tools they use and the results they get, and then the amount of time it takes them to get those results.